Hello, hello! It has been some time now that Arch-Tempered Velkhana was released, and we have had quite some time to enjoy the wonderful armor that it has brought us. Unless there are any surprises, we can assume that this will be the final monster that we will receive in the support lifespan of Iceborne. This means that we now have all of the tools that we will have access to, which in turn means that we can make the most efficient builds possible. After playing around with everything we have access to, I believe that the Greatsword meta sits in a very comfortable place that gives the player a few options depending on what they're looking for. Greatsword players have access to damage, comfort, or balance. Each of these is represented by one highly efficient competitive build that will meet each objective magnificently. Let's go over each of these three builds, explore their strengths and weaknesses, and give you the information you need so that you can decide which is the best for your hunts. There will be a link in the description with a full breakdown of each of the builds I will be mentioning. Let's get started. I personally play the Greatsword to put damage on the screen. I want the largest number that causes the most pain to each monster. For this reason, I look for damage when I build my Greatsword, and I have found this build to suit my needs perfectly. I call it the last Greatsword because it is the last build that I made and probably the last one I will need to make. It runs 4-piece Velcana Y, the helm, chest, waist, and legs, with 1-piece Fatalis, the gloves A, and of course, the glorious Fatalis Greatsword for maximum attack power. The greatest strength that this build has to offer is damage. It provides the highest damage possible and it is fantastic. While testing on the training room poll, a draw slash from this set can reach over 900 damage. A strong slash provides over 1050 damage easy. And finally, the true charge slash can hit for 1900 damage, sometimes more. Now, this damage was tested with no buffs and no agitator, so these are only basic numbers. With everything stacked, be prepared to see some real fireworks. Even still, there is more value to the build in its dual style. This build can be played as a full crit draw style build if required, but seamlessly switch to a true charge style whenever needed. As a fan of the crit draw, this is a huge plus for me. That said, no matter how much I like this build, it does have a weakness. This weakness is its inconsistency. Those huge damage numbers that you are seeing on the screen, they are all critical hits. But this build does not reach 100% affinity. It has a base affinity of negative 20%, which increases to 20% with critical eye, to 25% with attack boost, to 55% with weakness exploit, to 65% with agitator, and finally to 85% if you're hitting a tenderized part. These are a lot of conditionals to meet, so there will be multiple times when we do not get the critical hit. When that happens, our damage will drop significantly. It is up to you to decide if this is worth it. But not everybody wants pure damage under these multiple conditionals. Some people want to just hunt peacefully. Some people want to put on the autopilot, but not lose out on too much damage. Hey, sometimes I want this too. Hell, the hunt going on in the background uses such a build. Is this too much to ask? It isn't. No, my fellow greatsword user, it is not. For those who want this, the meta can provide an extremely useful comfort build. I coined this build the Greatest Sword because it was the first build that I made using the Fatalis Greatsword, which I believe is the best Greatsword in the game. This set runs 4-piece Fatalis, chest B, gloves B, waist A, and legs B, with 1-piece Frostfang Barioth, the helm B, with, once again, the black Fatalis blade. It must be mentioned that this build deals considerably less damage than the last build we looked at. The draw slashes from this build get close to 700 damage. The strong slashes deal about 800 damage each, and the true charge slash can get to about 1600 points of pain for each monster. As you can see, the drop in damage is noticeable, and it is the price to pay for the extra comfort that this build provides. Approximately, this build deals about 15% less damage. Obviously, this drop in damage comes with a trade-off. This is an extremely safe build with both Evade Window 5 and Divine Blessing 5. Your defense power will be top tier. You will be able to roll through roars with ease to punish the monster, and any hit you'll take will have a high chance of having its damage majorly reduced. Every time that you use the shoulder tackle to tank a hit, there is a chance that the shoulder damage reduction will stack with the damage reduction of Divine Blessing, resulting in nearly no damage being done to you. All of this with the ability to put on the screen true charge slashes to deal about 1600 damage each. This is nothing to scoff at. This may not be my favorite build, but I use it often when I am hunting with friends or when I need some carefree hunts. Finally, there are those who want the safe option, the consistent option. They do not want to worry about getting the critical hit, but they do not want or they don't need the extra defensive protection as they are still looking for damage. For them, we can find in the meta a balanced set that achieves the highest amount of damage possible in the most consistent way possible. This build is simply Frostcraft. This build runs 3-piece Velkhana Y, the helm, the waist, and the legs, with 2-piece Fatalis B, the chest and the gloves, alongside a Safi Greatsword that has to be awakened with Velkhana Divinity. Being a balanced build, it does not deal as much damage as the first one we looked at. That being said, it still has really good attack values. The draw slashes from this build can deal about 800 damage. The strong slashes reach over 900 damage each with absolute ease, and the true charge slashes reach and can hit a beefy 1700 damage each time. This is really good damage, and it can be obtained consistently. This set reaches 100% affinity with no issues and sometimes even goes over it, giving us true, consistent damage when it comes to the numbers that I mentioned on each move. Regardless, this set will still do about 10% less damage than the first build we looked at. It is up to the player to determine if the higher affinity and consistency is worth this lower damage output. So now the question begs itself: which one of these builds is the best? Frankly, all of them, and none of them can be considered the best. You see, it all depends on what you're looking for as a player, or what you're able to build with the tools you have at any particular moment. I, for example, value damage above all, so for me the best build is the first one, but for those that want the comfort to hunt carefree, the best build is the second one. Finally, those who want the highest but most consistent damage will find the third and final build to be the best. It all depends on which perspective you take. My recommendation is to try all three of them and make an informed decision on which one you prefer. Regardless of what you choose, you can rest assured that all three of these builds are the best at what they do. The meta for the Greatsword allows options, and that is very welcome. Maybe the developer surprises us with another stronger monster, but even in the current situation, we will have a lot of fun in the last few months left in Iceborne's lifespan. I hope that you are able to find what you need within these builds. In any case, and as always, thank you for your time, and please remember to use more Greatsword.